Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys are doing good. Welcome for the today's session. Let me start the session by introducing Lalit. Has recently qualified his CPA and he has been awarded the ELIZA Awards. So basically, ELIZA Award is something which is available to you once you have scored more than 95.5 and you have cleared your CPA in the first go. So Lalit is a chartered accountant also. He has cleared the CA almost 4 years before. He has been working with Genpact. He has been working with Airtel, and recently he has moved to Airtel. He's working in the reporting segment. So welcome, guys. Let's welcome Lalit for the same. Lalit, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Can you switch on camera also?
sure.
Perfect.
So, hello
Hi, everyone.
everyone.
I
Yeah,
hope you can hear both of us. Can you please confirm?
just a little bit.
Perfect. I think this is coming fine. No problem. Okay. How we'll start the session, guys? I'll ask Lalit to please guide us. How does he prepare? What was his exam strategies? Whatever the tricks, tips he wants to give. I'll cover few frequently asked questions which you guys have shared with us. And lastly, I'll open for you guys. You can ask any questions, whatever you have for Lalit. That. Okay. So Lalit's score is he has scored 92 in the audit. He has scored BC 97. He scored FAR also 97. And on the top of it, Reg is 99 in that case. So great score, amazing score. No one can thought that could be the score. Uh, so the first question which comes to everyone's mind that how should we prepare? What should be the strategy? How should we actually strategize along with the classes? What should be your approach, Lalit?
So, first of all, I want to thank Abhinav sir and all my teachers for their support. Without which, this goal of mine of becoming a USCPA, and that too with such great scores was not possible. And I want to thank all the support system that I have from my family and my friends, my colleagues, which helped me throughout. And now
So
coming,
how's the experience, Lalit? Are you on the cloud nine? How's it feeling now?
so my experience was, the result was pleasantly surprising because considering any paper of USCPA, it is a percentile based system where you don't know based on your performance itself how much you are going to score, whether it will be a 75 or it will be an 85. And to expect this kind of score, a 99 is almost like the top of it. And this is a feeling that I cannot describe in words right now. And it is like you are in the top 1% of the people who have taken the exam, and you have done such less mistakes that you are out there.
Correct,
So
correct. No,
uh,
I distinctly remember, I think your exam. Before this, we had a conversation a month before
yes.
where she said, so actually, guys, the reg was the last exam he has given, and he needs only 96 to get the ELISA, but he scored 99 for that. So I think we had a conversation a month or 2 months before that also that how to
Yes.
score 96 in that case. And I'm super excited and super happy to say that he scored much more than actually eligible for ELISA. So his score is actually much more than the limit of the ELISA also, which is really commendable.
So my first views. Uh, can I start with like preparation part, or where to start?
Anything, whatever you want to start. So basically, Lalit, you attend the classes, right? So we have almost 4 hours, 5 hours of the classes. How's your day go with that? As in, do you revise after that? How much study you do on the weekdays basis, weekend basis? How does it work?
So, being a working professional, it is definitely uh, the challenge goes on a higher side where you have to manage your work as well as your studies,
True.
and you have to handle both the responsibilities as better as you can. Uh, Sometimes there will be a feeling that you are not doing enough for your studies. But don't worry on that front, because most of us studying, we kind of can compensate this feeling by doing this on a weekend basis, by taking the load on a weekend basis, or we can, I mean, not prepone the exams or not take an aggressive schedule. We can go for a optimal schedule that fits our need. You can take a week or two extra and then prepare, be comfortable with your study material, be comfortable with how the exam that you are going to face, and then go in for the exam. And this way you can kind of even out the challenge that is increased due to work. And my coming to like regular study hours, I was doing study of approximately 1 to 2 hours on uh, a typical work day, and on weekends it went up to like uh, I would say 8 9 hours. And not purely study, as say, uh, a little bit of enjoyment also. I would say you cannot take all the pain and no reward. You have to set
Sure,
up an
sure.
incentive system for
Correct.
yourself. Whenever you do some topic really well, you take a day out, or you kind of enjoy also. So this process, if if it is not enjoyable, you will lose momentum. You have to make it enjoyable for yourself.
Sure, sure, sure. This is very nice. So when you say 8, 9 hours, Lalit, you're saying besides the classes. So we have the classes on the weekends. So besides classes, 8, 9 hours.
No, no, not besides the classes. It includes the classes. And right before exam, I try to uh, take exam on days where I can have some leaves, or where there is some major holiday coming. So that kind of brought me enough time so that I can put in all the hours and take the exam. And the real pain at the time was to complete it all, revise it all, and then go in with all your preparation.
Correct, correct. So summarize all. So basically 1 or 2 hours on the weekdays, whenever you're getting time after the office, before the office. On the
Yeah.
weekends, try to give more self-study 4 to 5 hours are good.
Yes.
Again, it is not, it is a very generic statement. He's telling as per his speed, right? Everyone is different
Yes.
in that case, right? Right. Great. So Lalit, I think I want to talk about this. If someone has recently joined, the way you have recently joined, initially the first step is very difficult, right? The first step, when to start, how to start, which subject to start, how should we go about that? If you want to give some knowledge to the someone who's recently joined.
Yes. So the first exam and the process of enrolling for this course is the most. I mean, you get into the system of study at the first, so this phase is the most difficult one. The first exam you will give, you will get into the flow, and then you will keep on taking other exams and eventually pass it out. And how the first exam goes, I mean, you should step in with all your evaluation done, uh, get done with all your formalities as fast as you can, then go to the studies, then take one subject at a time, start with your studies. And which the first subject should, as per my belief, the first subject should be the one that you are most comfortable with. If you are working in a US tax or a US audit environment, you should pick up your strength to play with. So the first exam will give you a positive feeling, and that positive feeling will go on to the next exams. And this is the kind of positive string, or the positivity that makes the whole journey better for you. And if you take a challenging one, or a one that you are not comfortable with, or some style which everyone is following, I mean, that is not going to go very well.
True, true. It's a very valid point. Generally, people ask, people have a perception, let's start with the FAR, let's start with the audit. I think this is a very solid point he has made in that case. Go with where you are comfortable. Comfort you have to gauge on your own. Many people are different, comfortable in whatever subject. I think it's a great point. So you should start where you're comfortable. And once you taste the success by clearing one of the subject, your morale is going to be skyrocket. Very nice point. So let's come back to strategy again, Lalit, in this case. So first you are saying daily 1 2 hours, 4 5 hours of the study. This is basically when the batch is on, right? 3 months, 3.5 months when the batch is over. How much time gap you take after the batch is over for
Uh,
self-study?
Typically, I mean, in my case, I have started studies along with that evaluation process, and in that whole process, I eventually wasted 2 to 3 months, and I had to restudy for one of my exams. And I did two classes by then, one for FAR and one for OD. For audit, it was the second one and the fresh in my memory. So I took the audit exam first, and then I restudied for FAR approximately 2 3 months again, because I have to refresh everything, and then I gave that exam. And this kind of this experience of mine, I've learned with that experience, and I tell my friends not to do this kind of mistake, because it eventually wastes your time, and a wastage of time is not very good, because there is a time value to the money and a time value to your career. So every month saved is going to add on to you.
So generally after the batch, can we say 1.5 month of preparation is good enough? What do you
Yeah,
think?
uh, I would not fix it in a case for
Fair enough.
like 1.5 months is good for generally. So you should take 1.5 months. I would say be comfortable with the material, even if that takes you 2 months or 2.5 months. And some exams are there which are typically challenging for some of us, because the FAR may get a very solid material, a very long enough. So you should give the time, and if you give that kind of time, you will master the subject, and with that mastery, that you are scoring 85 or 90 in the mock exams, you can go without any doubt in your mind that I'm not going to pass this exam. You can go sit there, and exam will be just like your mock exams. Sit there and relax, take your exams, follow the schedule, and I mean, whatever kind of strategy you have for the exam day, follow that, and you will be done.
Sure. So Lalit, with the batch, you have studied on the weekdays, sometime on the weekdays, sometimes on the weekends. Then you took a break and writing the exams, or maybe you're doing the parallel batches with that. So what should be the revision strategy for the students, or maybe whatever the revision strategy you have followed in that case? That means last 1 month, 1.5 months, you are giving more for the revision. What should be your strategy if you say that exam is somewhere? How many months before you should actually finish your topic,
Okay.
all of it?
Uh, First is when to schedule the exam when you have an NTS open. With an NTS open, and first of all, NTS should be opened only in a case after you have completed your coaching, after have you gone through one round of study that will take you approximately 2 to 3 months. Just open your NTS then, and then schedule your exam after your second revision or third revision, whichever you are comfortable with. And opening the test window only then does not create any pressure on your mind that I have to sit for the exam and get it done. And uh, how the revision should be uh, before the exam day or the D-day, uh, go for like 1 month, achieve your target should be 1 month before you are fully ready. And then after 1 month, keep your topics fresh in your mind. 15 days before, take mock exam one, see where you are lagging behind and where you need to pick up fast, and do go back to your weak topics, study them again. Now come back again 1 week before the exam, take mock exam two. Now, I mean, go through that same process all over again. And 1 to 2 days before the exam, I would say typically relax your mind, will free up your mind, and the challenge of the exam will again be the same, that kind of difficulty that you have already seen and used to, because you have already given two mock exams by now. And one special thing is that AICPA has a sample test on its website, and I would suggest each and every student to go through that also, because that is also a very small test, but uh, I mean, as much practice as you can give it at the last time, it will help you only.
Sure, sure. So I think it's a great learning. We should see the AICP papers. We should see the AICP MCQs. You'll get a better idea. Questions are very much similar to what you have done
Yes.
maybe in the backend itself. But when you say two mock papers, Lalit, what do you say? Two mock papers, three mock papers? What do you say before
Uh,
the exams?
I think in Becker itself, the modality has changed. Earlier, there were three mock exams,
Correct,
and one of the mock exam has broken down into like three parts. So while studying, you have already done that. So,
correct, correct, correct. Oh,
so with that, all the material will be covered in all your MCQs, all your sims will be covered during your preparation. Try to knock out MCQs together with the topic that you are studying, and after you have attained like good level of mastery, also go through sims. And with sim there comes beautiful feature like skill master video, and where that is a guided solution given to you. So do go through that. That will only show you how we should approach the question. Like if you have wasted 4 or 5 minutes going through 7 exhibits, they will show you which exhibits you can go through first, and
so,
that kind of familiarity comes in, and I mean that saves your time in the real setup of the exam.
so first mock, Lalit, you are saying should be around 1 month before the exam, and
Yes.
second would be 15 days before the exam. Is that what you're
No, no.
suggesting?
I mean, to keep the topics fresh, I've taken like mock to 15 days before, and mock and the second mock on 7 days before the exam.
Yeah, not very close to the exam because unnecessarily, if a bad mock paper, it will unnecessarily derail your confidence in that case,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I agree with that.
And I mean, don't take your mock exams to your heart. If you score, don't if you score not that well, because even I've scored 75 in mock exam of red. So
Wow.
don't take that to your heart, and keep on
Yeah,
studying. You may have some weak areas, you can really develop on that. So
sure.
I mean, with this understanding only, study that whenever you get any question wrong, it is not that you are wrong. It is only that you need to relearn and reevaluate, because the concept is not that clear somewhere, and you will reconnect and again do well.
Sure. So Lalit, before the exam, let's talk about the before the exam. Have you made any notes or whatever the notes you have copied in the class? Was
Yes.
that sufficient? Have you made additional notes also? So how to basically revise a day before exams? So how to do that?
Okay. So here I think my approach was not like uh, the best one. The best approach here is to have a handy notes of like 20 25 pages, which you would go through right before the exam. That should cover everything. There are elaborate summary charts, diagrams, which people prepare for themselves. So, but in my case, I was not doing anything like that. I was, I mean, writing on my book wherever I found something new, wherever I felt that. Just taking an example here, like let's say homeowners exclusion has a special part in the MCQ or simulation, which is not there in the book or not aptly properly covered in detail. So you can write in your own language, so that when you revisit it the day before the exam, you will pick up very fast.
So
So you can do that kind of thing. And I went through whole of the book the day or two before the exam, and then I sit for the exam.
sure, sure. So in fact, basically you have summarized the book. Basically, you have wherever the
Yes,
relevant topic is, you made that, which is fair enough. And I think Lalit, your case is much easier also for you also because you have read it multiple times already. So
yes,
it's not the so people get confused. Okay, I'll read the book a day before. No, he has read this book two, three times before
yes.
that. That's why obviously you're much ahead in the learning curve. That's why you could do it much better. Perfect, I guess. Okay, I think let's go subject by subject, I guess. What do you suggest for the reg in this case? I'll start with this because 99. So is it generally considered to be technical? The way we discussed, the way we have the book, is it that complicated exam also? Okay, first of all, we are not going to discuss what comes in the exam
No,
because it's a confidential
sure.
exam, so we'll not talk about this. But generally, is the level of the exam is also very difficult? What did you experience?
So exam difficulty will definitely fall in front of Becker mock exams or whatever you are doing while you are preparation. For a fact that in most of the exams I've seen that Becker MCQs and Becker uh, way style of preparation like who gives you a push to do more. And in the real exam, the difficulty levels get like moderated for because there are different review providers in the difficulty levels people are
True,
coming from.
true.
So that gets moderated and you will score pretty well because there is a thing called Baker bump because in most exams your uh, mocks will give you scores like 70 or 80, but in the real exam you may be scoring much better than that. And you have to just focus on the material, focus on your weak areas. And in the exam always remember like your strengths will be like your time management, your style of handling the exam. Even if you don't know a question, take a very educated guess. I mean, because you know one of the option is right, and if the examiner is going to trick you and three of the options are looking similar, then three of them are wrong and the other one is right. So these kind of guesses also help. And many things like the question what the question is going to aim at or aiming at, you pick up the hint and then you can take an educated guess there as well. I've seen very little cases where I did not know the question. I have actually prepared or practiced that kind of question somewhere. So such instances are less in my case, but yes, there can be the possibility in audit mostly, because audit is the exam where you will see two options very similar, very, you will not be able to find out what is unique in that. So there, I think that educated guess comes in, that you have to pick up the right one.
Okay. Uh, so I think let's move to audit after that, Lalit. Specifically, I got the question in this case, how to prepare A1, A2 in this case. So how to prepare for this?
Okay. So, one part from my last question also, and here also. A1, A2, and the regulation business law. These are all theoretical, but there is a bit of a difference when you go from reg to audit. In regulation, the questions are mostly practical application based. But in A1, A2, I will strictly say that exam gets a bit more theoretical over here, where the role of remembering the structure of audit report, whatever is going to come in, how you are going to express an opinion in case of issuer, in case of non-issuer, and all this that kind of stuff, uh, and how to make a proper judgment of which kind of report you will choose. So all this is gets more theoretical bend in audit, and you have to take that bend in audit because um, the questions are more based on which para is going to come right after this para, and there is nothing application based in that. You have to just remember the concept really well, and I can say some bit of rote learning comes in here in the whole course. This part is where I felt that some bit of learning comes here. You have to remember the audit report structures and how to do that, and then only you can handle that question well. But in other subjects theory, you will not face that kind of challenge, because in whole of regulation things might get theoretical, but they never ask you these kind of questions. They always ask something practical. In contract law, always something practical or surety, anything
Sure,
like that.
sure. But Lalit, let's go one by one. Let's say how to address A2, if you remember A2, A3, A4. Many students facing problem in that. If you have any suggestion for these guys.
Yes.
Uh,
uh, in like whole of the audit, I've got a big lesson that uh, you have to remember the audit workflow. In terms of workflow, like a step by step of the each process, the audit diagram and the audit tree, where you are falling into the process, because it is kind of a natural process that is coming in there. You are doing a risk assessment, then you are doing substantive testing, then you are evaluating that, and then you are taking a conclusion. And even before that, there are some steps like and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff also comes in. So knowing where you are in the process, which step you are going to take, what are the tools and methodologies of the audit prescribed by the SESs and PCOP standards, all that kind of stuff technically plays in, and you have to know like what is going on over here, which standard is picking up, which I mean, what kind of procedures we have to get into. So this kind of modality to know that examiner is asking me this thing now, what is the most right step to take. Somewhere it is an, somewhere there will be more than one option that is correct, but you have to pick the better one always.
Sure.
And
So,
this is out there in audit.
so let's talk about BC. बहुत ही controversial है. How to prepare the written communication. आपने actually you have spent some time on that. You read this. How this for the
Okay.
BC.
So I mean, for BEC, for the working profession, I think you have an advantage over here. You write a lot of emails, you write a lot of memos. So this is something that is going to be your strength area, that is going to be your benefit area. But even in that case, I would say budget at least an hour and a half. I mean, budget at least the last hour for the taking the written communication, because the earlier sections of the BEC you can do really fast, and
So,
the based on the exam is really based on the idea that you can do MCQs really fast and they carry a weightage of 50%. So the cherry is that you can do that really fast and then go to that area which is going to take the time. Written communication carry a lot less weightage in front of TBS and MCQ, but despite of that, you have to give 20 minutes to each of the written communication, that can, you can structure your response, write the response, and then do that. For practicing that, highly suggest uh, take 2 to 3 topics out of random, like how to do place IT controls, or what are the general IT controls that can be there. Write a para about how a password policy of the company can be designed, or things like that. Mostly things come out of internal control and IT, and some finance aspects. I can really not second guess it, but yes, chapter BC1 and BC6 are theoretical, and written communication have a tendency to come out from there.
sure. So I was coming to that only. How to prepare IT, how to prepare COSO, which is so boring, so theoretical. No one wants to read them. How to go about that? What do you suggest?
So,
Any practice is the only solution.
I mean, here, I mean, if you have the time or the ability to venture out, you can really venture out and see some of the material on the website of COSO, some of the real practical materials out there. So that can help you like getting a practical feeling of the subject, because COSO is a subject, COSO as a topic is of internal control and internal audits. So some material from there can help you get a real practical feeling of the topic. And for IT, I would suggest like reading some IT related articles or materials can really help you. The recent technologies like Excel, Tableau, or things like SQL, these kind of things. Uh, I would not say go into Python or programming. Stay away from that because that will deviate your mind. And you can do a little bit of research here and there, and you can understand how the businesses are trying to achieve IT, how they're trying to integrate IT into their business, how they're trying to use it, what are the kind of roles and professionals involved in managing that. IT will kind of come into your mind more naturally than rote learning. I mean, rote learning will not help you out any which ways here. You will feel like even I've learned so much, I'm not able to do really well. So getting a feeler of the subject is important here.
Okay. I'll come back to the in the exam day. क्या pressure था? I think you have given 8 to 11 slot, if I'm not wrong. You have given the morning slot. So what do you suggest
Yes.
people? Morning slot better होता है, afternoon slot better होता है, क्या better होता है? Since you have not given any problem you find in the morning slot. Second is, did you sleep well? When you stopped studying, that means 11 बजे के बाद मैं नहीं पढ़ूंगा because I need to sleep, right? तो क्या एग्जाम डे से पहले एक रहेगा अप्रोच and what is going to be approach for the exam day itself? How's your experience with the prometric also? Would be help great if you share.
Yes. So I mean, on the exam day, go like relaxed. Have your passport ready. Have your NTS ready, and
Good point.
sleep really well, like 6 7 hours. Uh,
Though I
when you
had a
go,
word with Lalit, I said do not go before sleeping 8 hours. But yeah, he's saying 6 7 hours, which is quite good.
so sleeping like 6 7 hours, and take your break, because if you don't take that break right before the exam, you will feel like I was in a constant study mode and now I've given come to take the exam. And you will not have the mental easiness, or your nerves will be running on top of you, and you will be thinking much ahead of the exam. So
Sure. So
whenever you are
Just
doing a question,
I'll
you
bring
will.
the context for sorry. I'll just bring the context for the people जो पहली बार देख रहे हैं जिन्होंने एग्जाम दी है. CPA एग्जाम में almost after 3 units there is a 15 minutes break. So Lalit is talking about that, which Lalit is suggesting you should definitely take it, right, Lalit?
Yes, a break is definitely suggested. Utilize the break to the fullest, and uh, while taking the exam, concentrate on the question that you have. Do not think, because time is running out, this and that. There will be questions with hard difficulty level that are meant to take 2 to 2.5 minutes, and then there will be questions which will happen like 10 to 20 seconds, and you don't have to waste much of your time. So while staying in your limits, like 2 to 2.5 minutes in case of bad questions where you really are seeing the difficulty level going up, marks grading will accordingly adjust. Hard difficulty level questions are graded on a much higher scale. You get more credit for that. Easy questions you get less credit for that. And this with this kind of approach, you should take the exams are basically a test of your exam day patience and your grit, because you feel that one or half of the testlet has gone wrong for me, and with grit only you can come back in the next testlet, do really well, and assemble a score which will bring you out on the top of it. So
Which subject you felt that I done very well? When I've done very well. Which subject did you feel for
Practically, I mean, as I said, Becker mocks are are like that you do really well, but you don't score that. And the same kind of feeling comes in after giving us AICPA exam. So I've always felt that was again 80, 85, 86 इस type का ये होने वाला है कुछ.
that?
But there is a thing like Becker bump. Whatever you see in your home mock exam that you take at home, you will do much better over there.
So I
And
remember after talking reg, you said सर decent हुआ एग्जाम. I was like decent होने के बाद 99 है तो I don't know अच्छा होगा तो क्या होगा. So that's what he said after reg exam also sir decent हुआ exam. So yeah. So generally you don't get the feeler also I guess Shailal, right?
Yes, actually feeling आता नहीं है. You
जी.
have to, and the first thing is that the exam itself is a very percentile based system.
True.
So you never know how much you are going to score. But while taking each and every question, think like it is going to take you from 74 to 75. Because with that kind of feeling,
True.
you will do really well in each and every question.
True. 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 In fact, with this approach, I think the approach is very good. In fact, मेरी ललित से एक महीने पहले बात हुई. ऐसा नहीं है. Eliza, he gave it the exam and suddenly he got it. He planned last one subject at least for reg.
Yes.
He planned that way and he worked really hard for it. I can vouch for that because मेरी ललित से बात होती रहती थी. ललित और always फिर I used to calm him कि don't over pressurize yourself because otherwise there would be some error, right? So always I used to end the conversation saying it's okay. Eliza, no, Eliza, be comfortable. Don't unnecessarily pressurize yourself too much. But Lalit always used to end the conversation, no, sir, I'll try my best. And that tone automatically tells you the story that this guy is going to get this, right? Automatically this case. And I will not have a sleep. I will have also have a sleepless night 2 3 days before. I was like, इसको मिल जाए Eliza यार मतलब. I'll feel guilty if अगर reg में नहीं मिला इसको तो. So commendable work, yes, sir. Commendable work. I can vouch for that. So yeah.
And
Okay.
even like friends with me, some of the friends are here with me who have actually taken the reg exam alongside me, and we were solving each other's queries and
Correct.
while taking up the exam. So having a proper study group where you know the other people how they are preparing, and I mean you get to know the struggle, which topic you are underestimating or which topic you are feeling that it is not that important, but it is that important. Have that kind of study group. In most cases, it is going to boost up your scores and it is going to boost the other person also. It is mutually beneficial for the students. So engaging in that kind of group work is also going to help you.
True, true. So, Lalit, is Becker sufficient? What are your thoughts? Is Becker sufficient, or do you refer any other material? What do you suggest?
So in my case, I have not doubted Becker in any of the subjects. But yes, again, there is a one thing that I would say in BEC, there is a potential to go far and wide because BEC is a culmination of 6 subjects in one.
Right.
And there is a limit to what Becker can put in their book. And that limit, you will see 4 pages for COSO, 4 pages for enterprise risk management. You can think of going out like a little bit 10-20 pages of high quality material that you get online from the authoritative websites of COSO, or even the risk management framework is also issued by them. You can take authoritative material, study through that. If you want to see real practical examples, you can search them on the internet. You can do a little bit of research on IT because IT is again wide. There, I think it has the potential to go out.
Sure. But I think what Lalit you're saying is after you finish the Becker, then you should scout for anything else. ऐसा नहीं
Yes,
है आपने
yes.
Becker नहीं किया,
No,
आप
no,
बाहर सर्च करो. That will waste
no,
a lot of time.
no.
So,
Don't
fair enough.
don't try doing that, and don't think of going through 5 different materials and then thinking that अब तो confusion नहीं होगा, अब तो confusion होने वाला है. और second thing is that ASCs in FAR, the accounting standard codification. Some people think that they have to read that accounting standard codification. Yes, you have to take a sampling of how the standards are set up in the ASC. That will help you to search for the real answer in the exam time. But आपको बहुत कुछ नहीं पढ़ना उसमें. You have to know the structure of it. Similarly, authoritative literature in REG, आपको बहुत कुछ सारे सेक्शन नहीं पढ़ने हैं because it is really big. You have to know like how the IRC is laid out and how you are going to search for it. Sections, for a sample, I would say read 10-15 sections, but don't overdo it. Otherwise, your precious time will go into useless activity and then backfire हो जाएगा सब कुछ.
So basic fundamental backer should be complete 100% and you're thorough with it. Then maybe for DEC, let's say IT or COSO or such that some just to get a feeler of the IRC or other subject, you should just have a look of basic research in that case, right?
Yes, because there are research simulations and you have to know how to research from the literature.
Sure, sure. Okay. Did you see any other lecture as in besides BGLD? Did you get a chance to see the backer also? Have you seen the backer lecture also?
Yes.
Okay.
So I would say I have seen many Becker lectures in like uh, in case of reg, I've really not kept any stone unturned and really done everything that I could. Uh, Full 99% going for MCQs, full 99% going for simulations, going through each and every mock exam, and going through whatever Becker teachers were putting up. So I have done really everything I could out there, and not feasible for each and every one of us. I understand that
Sure,
there
sure.
is a real time limitation.
True, true. But if someone is looking to score 75, 80, good decent mark in this case, what do you suggest? Do we still need to refer the Becker material, Becker lectures? What do you say? Or any particular you want to see that?
Mm, I mean, in some cases where you are feeling weak at or your weakness areas, do refer to VGLD lectures and also to the Becker lectures. I would not say hold back. Wherever your weakness is, you should do everything what it takes.
True, true, true. Wherever is it's a case by case. अगर आपको लग रहा है कि you are not getting that comfort, see that, but it's not a rule that you have to do it. There are many students who have seen it, there are many students who have not seen it, and everyone cleared it. There's no rule for that. Agreed with that. Uh,
Yes.
Someone asked me the question whether should we prepare one subject, should we prepare two subjects? Since you have given one by one, I'm not sure whether, but still your opinion on that, what do you say?
Uh, yes, two subjects can be prepared, uh, but I would suggest it only in a case of a full-time student.
Sure.
Not in case of a professional. You are already overdoing it, and yeah, it will get on the top of you. And if you have taken a break for to prepare only for this exam, you can do even two at a time. Pick the complementary ones. Uh, so with complementary, I can say you can do FAR and ODD together or FAR and BEC together, and then move to the next two ones. So taking two and two at a time is also possible, and it will reduce your duration of taking exam. But again, the risk will also increase. Uh, you can prepare two at a time, but take a break of something like half month or 1 month in between the exam. That will reduce the risk.
How many days break have you taken from your studies? As in for you writing your exam, 3 दिन का break, 1 week का break, कितने दिन का break किया था आपने for
Uh,
writing your exams? Yeah.
Mostly it was a 1 week break, and I mean in last two.
When you say 1 week, that includes Saturday, Sunday also.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, 7 days
So
basically.
1 week break is going to prepare you for the exam. First 1 or 2 days, you kind of disconnect and reconnect with studies, and then you build upon the momentum that is going to lead you to the exam day. That momentum will keep on increasing. You will put in 10, 11 hours per day, and then you will start feeling I'm again in the flow of the taking that subject.
Sure, sure. And generally people try to compare कि CA कितना मुश्किल है, CPA कितना मुश्किल है. Since you have seen both the words, what do you suggest? How far is it different from CA, CPA?
Uh, Basically, a direct comparison is very, I mean, not an apple to apple comparison, I would say. The approach of the exam is different. You see, the approach in AICPA is there are three levels: remembering, application, and evaluation. Evaluation being tested only in odd and not the rest of the three. And in in my preparation of CA exams, the case was that you have to remember a lot. You have to apply that also side by side. And I mean, you have to quote the real actual section numbers to go really well with the exam. You have to know the accounting standard numbers. You have to reverberate that language on the exam. You have to put that again on the paper, and even your own language won't work if you don't put the official language of what the text say. So that kind of approach is very different, and you will feel after taking this exam that this exam is not to that high level of difficulty, or not to that level where you have to reput everything. It pushes you to an extent where you have to know it all, you have to apply it, but you don't have to do the full scale learning of what this section number is, what that section number is, and then put that. So with that, I would say that difficulty level will go down, but it will again come back on the other side where your application needs to be really solid again, and
Sure.
you will feel the difference in the approach. Both exams are, I mean, I would not say both exams are really difficult. Don't underestimate any of them. And CA has already put up a lot of pressure on you, and I believe with that pressure you can handle this exam also really great.
Sure, sure. Generally, people have the perception it's easier for the CA, but I think it is the same. What do you say? People are coming from the BCom, people are MBA, people are coming MCom. If you, I think you work hard, it would be doable.
Yes.
What I thought. Or CA
So
inter, right? What do you say?
So, I mean, MBA also put up a lot of pressure of the projects and other stuff. You have already gone through that. I'm not saying that MBA is easy, or I mean, you have also gone through the separate pressures while preparing for B schools.
Sure,
I mean, what it takes is your dedication more than anything.
sure, sure.
Coming from an
I,
accounting background, I know what CAs have gone through, and even MBAs while preparing their case studies, work all nighters or do really great research when they study on a topic. So you can also do that. So this exam is nothing but a re-replication of what you have studied in your B schools. And to be honest, like I've seen many recipients of Elijah Watson winners or other people also, which are actually B school pass outs from America and other countries, which actually take that exam and do really well on this exam. So nothing that you have to come from an accounting background to do that well. Bachelors, even bachelors from uh, bachelors and masters degree pass outs are also doing really well on the exam. And CA as a trend, it is picking up that we are doing taking up that exam. So uh, I talked a little bit from that perspective, but anybody can do that. You have to put in only your dedication while
it's
taking that
all the
exam.
hard, it's all the hard work. It's a pure hard work. Correct.
Yes.
But I think Lalit, you gave the audit first.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll open it for the people, guys. If you have any questions, please shoot. I'm reading the questions which I got. Sanjana, I think that answered. He took almost a week for writing the exams. Um, so again, the same strategy, though he has discussed in length in this case. But if someone is asking, what is that 1 or 2 month for you to achieve the ELISA? So if you want to share anything, if you
Uh,
want to give any tips or tricks, if you have anything in your mind
so,
for scoring so well.
for scoring really that well, I mean, Elijah, I can share my knowledge that go systematic with the exam. First of all, take the lectures from the VGLD, and after taking that lectures, it will go through a first round of revision for you. Read each and every topic as the class progresses. Don't put that off for the next one, because topics are interconnected, and they are going to create a lot of noise after 3 to 4 days of missed classes. And understanding basis and that kind of stuff is very critical in exam. In each exam has its own critical points, which can be laid out really well. I mean, if I can lay that out, that will be a whole document in itself. Each exam has some critical points which you have to go through. And I mean, we are typically guided by all our teachers. So be sure to know this point before you take the exam. So master those critical points, take study side by side, and after you get a good thorough grasp over the topic, do MCQ. Uh, don't delay that too much. Try to take MCQ by the next week or the same week itself. After you do the MCQs, it will show you like scores of 40, 50. Don't get disheartened. Again, I mean, again, do the learning, come back again. And by the time you have completed your coaching, you have already will have taken all the MCQ. And one big tip is to do cumulative revision side by side. Don't put that thing like चैप्टर 1 हो गया, आप चैप्टर 2 कर रहे हैं और सिर्फ चैप्टर 2 कर रहे हैं, चैप्टर 1 भूल गए. Do a cumulative revision, chapter 1 and chapter 2, take them both together. Chapter 1, 2, 3, take them, 3 of them together. And if you feel like a topic has needs more attention from your point of view, do take out that time. If you are facing difficulty in ethics, professional ethics question or something like that, do take out that time for yourself. And I mean, nobody is going to do that for you. You only have to know where your weak areas are. Even suggest taking out a notebook and writing down your wherever a question goes wrong. अपनी गलतियां जरूर लिखो, चाहे सही चीज मत लिखो, बट गलतियां एटलीस्ट जरूर लिख लो ताकि अगली बार गलती ना.
So I think these are the really, really great words. Uh, I think guys, approach and everything he has discussed a lot already. So I think the question is more about the approach he has discussed already in this case. Uh, what is the strategy to prepare the simulation?
Okay. So simulation comes in various forms. I would say there are 3 to 4 forms of that. One is a document review simulation, where you have to correct a document. They will provide you a document basis and some exhibits. So you have to uh, understand that the material is still fundamentally the same. All they need to do is put that up with the right literature and the right things. So if it is about contingency or commitment and something they have written wrong, like contingency has been created but with a very remote possibility, and they have written they will make a provision for that. Do take that out. Again, it is the same MCQ. If you think like something different has been asked, you will face problem, but it is a same thing. Most of the exam or most of the simulations are just a congregation of multiple MCQs put together in a same case. So if I break down whole of the paper, it's all about MCQs. Even simulations are MCQs. So simulation are MCQs on the same case study itself. All you have to do is not worry too much. And other cases like where you have to put in the numbers. Putting in numbers is about some calculation part, and that calculation part we even do in MCQs. So there is nothing different in that. The same calculation, you can say if asked on MCQ, what can I do? You have to do the same thing in a simulation. You have to pick up the right exhibit. You have to pick up the right thing.
Valid point, valid point. In fact, your concept should be solid. After that, they're asking you anything, you can easily answer that also. Very solid point. Did you use authoritative literature? Was that helpful? क्या help थी उससे कुछ लिया क्या?
Yes. Authoritative literature और उसको search करने की possibility is a superpower like on simulation, because that opens up a lot of possibility for you on the exam itself. You don't have to remember the penalty percentages or other kind of stuff if you have that kind of querying ability. And that kind of querying ability, that is why I referred, आप 10-15 sections जरूर देखो देखो कैसे how things are structured out in the literature. So that's why I said that do take out time for these activities also. And when on real exam you forget something, you have that thing of going to literature and then coming back and answering the exam, and answer would be right because you have already seen the literature and referred it.
True, true, true. Uh, I think guys, preparation he has already answered. What do you say about Lalit, in this case, prometric center experience, keyboard, screen size, calculator, pen, pencil? I think we discussed it a lot, but just if you want to talk about your prometric center experience.
And try to wear, I mean, light clothes and kada and all that stuff that is not allowed. Don't wear it on that day because it will unnecessarily create a hustle in the exam center.
Sure.
And all you can do is uh, go in there lightly and they will provide you each and everything. They even don't allow much of the things that you carry with yourself, even your mobile phones and everything. uh, they keep out, and there uh, no pencils are allowed, no pens are allowed from your side, nothing. You have to just uh, go in there and sit and take the exam. Even hankies are not allowed, so you can wonder what is going on there. And
True.
but the
True.
exam environment itself is very light. You can sit for the exam, and it is Prometric does a really well job for providing a silent environment where you can concentrate and take the exam.
Sure.
After
Excel you find is also similar to what you find in the backup. Is it different? The Excel you find in the exam.
Excel is really much better than the Becker.
Yeah,
So
that's
uh, Excel is really one of the things which I have used for calculations, and I have not relied very much upon the calculator because I have to re-punch in numbers again and again. I've tried to use Excel wherever I can, and I've done like whole of the testlets only on the Excel, keeping one Excel open and then moving on and on and on. So
But
again, when
again,
you
guys, this is something he's suggesting as per his convenience, right? Don't if you are comfortable with calculator, do that. I mean, don't reinvent the wheel. The way you follow your approach, you
yes,
should follow that, right? He's giving his experience only.
if you are
Correct,
comfortable with calculator, then I would suggest go with the calculator because your tried and tested approach will
correct,
work
correct,
very well.
correct. Any specific question, guys, for him? Because how is the he has already covered the questions on this. How the authoritative works is already there. Can we copy the simulation from the Excel? So, Lalit, the question is maybe the if you're working on the Excel, can you copy anything and copy
Yes,
paste in the? Yes, you can do that.
some stuff out there where there are images you cannot capture that, where things are in a HTML text kind of format. You can copy that and put that on a table, and you will also see extensively exercise this in Becker simulation. So you will come to know of that, and many of your questions will get answered as you practice and go through skill master videos. So
Correct, correct, correct. Any other questions, guys? You have, I think every question I think he has already answered.
some
Any
things
other question? Please,
some things I would like to address. Like
please.
there are things like flashcards. Uh, I mean, a quick review book is shared by Becker. I mean, I don't know the remember exactly what is the name of that, but there is a
Final
small.
review is that? Are you talking about
Yeah,
final review?
yeah, final review. So if you feel the need that before exam day I need a special review book, you can order that as well. If you are doing really well on some exam and you are really trying to knock that off, you can take up that possibility. You can take the final review book. You can take up uh, and do flashcards where there is remembering involved. Within Becker itself, there are a lot of features that you should explore. You can make a learning plan, other kind of stuff. So what it will do is keep you on track and create a plan for you. So and some are it, and one thing more is chapter outlines that you have. You can go through chapter outlines wherever you feel like chapter का intro चाहिए, पूरा नहीं पढ़ना है, बस intro चाहिए. So you can go through chapter outline. That is also a really great thing to go with.
So I'll take up the questions. Simulation already covered. What is the pace of the exam? If the less time is left, still the question is to be done. So what will you do? I don't think you have come across with this. I think
Yes.
he has left BEC also per MCQ. So I think the time management is going to be the key. I think he has managed the time really well. So I don't think he has faced that challenge.
I think this time management challenge is coming really hard in FAR, and
Right.
I've seen practical cases where due to time management, FAR paper has really gone unwell with many candidates. So I highly suggest wrapping up all the MCQs within 1.5 hour and to 1 hour 45 minutes timeline. And with with practice and experience, I believe this is possible without hurrying up on MCQs. If you have that kind of practice on the topics and you target to do all the MCQs within 1 hour 45 minutes or 1 hour 30 minutes, you can do that. That is doable. So try to achieve that, because only after you follow a strict timeline and far you will be able to complete the exam. Otherwise, you will have to leave the half of test left empty, or even the last ones. I've seen many people are not able to attend that. You have to follow a strict timeline in far, where there was a challenge. I was writing the paper, and to the last minute, I was attending one of the questions. And in BEC, written communication, how well you write or how good of a writer you are, still you will think of updating the text. So again, these two subjects are where time management will come into your help. And in BEC, one special thing is that questions are from 5, 6 different topics. Be able to switch your mind from one topic to the another. You have to switch gears side by side. Topic will change from finance to economics, like one by one, and you will have to answer that. And
I think that's a very good point. Yeah. Good.
so, I mean, for some of the topics like economics, I would say it is really not that hard. Uh, it is a basic elementary economics. If you are an MBA or a CA, you already read that. You are a bachelor's. You already read that. No problem in that. All you need to do is brush up on your basic topics. Even the business law is kind of what we do in regulation. The business law that we are studying is very similar to what we have in India, but again, don't directly try to import that everything knowledge into the USCPA, otherwise you will confuse, but topics are somewhat similar.
Okay. I'll take the few questions. Already, I think this is answered. Should we refer the textbook or the software is sufficient? No, Matthew. You have to read the hard copy also and the software also. You can open authoritative literature any number of times. There is no problem. Yes, you have used the final review book, right, Lalit? For some
I've not
exams, you have used it, not used it.
uh, I've not used it, but I've read from my experience that it is highly recommended. And I mean, if you can take that and you are really trying to aim for Elijah Watts cell, or trying to do that, there may be some candidates here also that um, may be on the verge of getting some really good scores, and you
Yeah,
can try to.
but the basic first the basic module should you cover, then you should obviously look for covering everything else, right? Isn't it?
Yes, yes.
I think 11, 12 months Lalit has achieved, so definitely you can complete that also. Any other questions guys we have? Can you achieve on the job prospects after becoming? So I think he's also looking for that. He's also looking. He's already having the couple of schedules, interview schedules for that. So I think better answer would be if you ask him after 15 days, maybe 15, 20 days, then I think would be better. Anything regarding the preparation, guys, on the exam side we have regarding amendments in the
Uh,
subjects? Yeah.
I would say an interesting analogy is while preparation act like the fielding side of cricket. I'm taking that analogy from cricket. Act like a fielding side, and while taking the exam, act like as a batting side because you keep your fielding tight when the other person is saying something or your other person is trying to give you something. You keep your fielding tight and close all the gaps, fill everything, and try to minimize and I mean minimize and compress the knowledge that you get. Don't believe it to be enhanced. Try to compress and understand it. And while taking the exam, try to act like a batsman who is able to take each and every ball as it comes. So with that, I mean, you will be able to score much better because taking the exam is a different thing and studying for it is a different thing. Taking the exam should be on a lighter note and studying for it should be on the harder side. You should cover everything and all, and you can do
So,
really well on the exam.
so the more you bleed in the practice, the less you are going to bleed in the war. Actually, the more sweat you have in the practice. Agreed. And it's a beautiful analogy for the cricket. Like when you're giving your exam, play on the front foot, right? Hit sixes. Brilliant. I think he has already covered Nitesh. If you see the recording, he has already covered how to revise, how to prepare. He has already covered that. So again, we mean that's not question for him. You should address that more amendments. It's not relevant for him. So yes, so that's what Asim he has already answered. So guys, already he has answered this point that authoritative literature have a basic idea about this, so that it should not work like when you see it on the first time. That don't do that. At least have a basic idea about this, right, Lalit? You should have a basic idea about this how the authoritative literature works, so that you will not get a shock when you're actually doing in the exam.
Yes,
Uh,
authoritative literature, we should have a familiarity, and you will definitely not have each and everything knowledge of the authoritative literature, but first go from the structure, how the structure is laid out, and after going through the structure, then see if I have to search this, am I able to search this? Take two or three specific cases, and these cases are already in the software, so you can take from that. When you are doing research simulations practice, you will already get to know that. And sometimes you are not able to pick up the right keywords and you are left searching two to three times. So with knowledge of structure, you can reduce that going to unnecessary topics and do a limited search in a specific area using all of the words kind of search. So this will help you.
yeah, Mayur, we have already answered that. I think that has already answered. You can copy from the authoritative. You can copy from the Excel. You can copy that. That should not be a problem. Any other question, guys? Do we have for Lalit? Ask everything more about the preparation, guys. Don't ask how the backer software works. See that you can Google, you can search in that case. You can ask the team also in the back case. Ask him about the preparation and exams if you have anything. If we have, okay. After attempting exams, you were very sure that you will get the good marks. So we have answered covered this question.
Uh,
Yeah.
to answer your question, yes, I was believing that I would be able to pass it, but numbers can never be, number or the score can never be judged. Only basis your performance. The
Yeah.
person
How about the
coming,
first exam? How about the first exam, Lalit? After giving your first exam, because now you have the fair idea about how the scoring is. But what about the first exam? Were you sure that I will get 92 in audit or somewhere around that?
uh, really not sure, because uh, even from the first exam to the last exam, I was really not sure how much I will end up into. But really, I was sure that if I'm going all in prepared, I'm going to pass this exam. I've really done everything to take that up, because a 75 is a key criteria for you, and if you are aiming at home a score of 85 or 90 and you are getting there, and there is a backer bump also, so you can estimate the that one can easily pass the exam. But still, I would say not try to judge it, because it is not your performance that matters, but everybody's performance. And the system grades and scales everything.
I think that's pretty much it. Any other questions, guys? I think we have covered most of the ground. Um, all right, I think we can wrap the session here. I'll thank you a lot, Lalit, on behalf of everyone. I think the knowledge you have given to all of us, it's something which is going to be unparalleled. And we hope
My
we
pleasure.
have more of a Eliza, more of a good score, and more of a CPAs. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much to you, Lalit.
Thank you,
Any
everyone.
last
I wish
any last closing comment you want to have, all of us?
uh, one is, I mean, outside of the exam or outside of the preparation, I would go now. Uh,
Please.
always believe in yourself, and always believe that I can do that, because you have taken up this challenge. You are already a fighter, and I think you must give yourself a pat on the back. If you have cleared one or two exams, you are already on the winning spree. Do take that forward. Continue putting on the efforts, and don't stop until the last one is knocked out. And with that, our sense of achievement is going to come in with each of your win coming in place. And don't take that pressure on your, because I felt that kind of pressure in the first exam. Don't take that kind of pressure. If you are following the right methodology, that will sometimes, if you are think I'm not doing enough, will still, you still already have done put in the efforts, and it is only a matter of outcome that will come in, and you will be surprised that, oh, I've passed the exam. And because sometimes it is about taking that risk and going to the exam, and we are still deferring it. We will take it later, and we will take it later. Don't do that. And I would really say, like, balance your working life, family life, and study life, because these all two three aspects are very important. You cannot put one or two in problem for the other. So try to balance each and everything. I mean, somewhere down the line, we all face this kind of challenge, but be prepared that how you are going to manage things. And I mean, be grateful to your friends, colleagues, family who are out there doing some of the extra work that you have left due to studies. So this will also, like, create a sense in them that yes, the person is at least grateful for what we are doing. And being optimistic will help you. Each and every one of you is great in, in each and every question that you solve better. Try to reward yourself anyhow. So with this kind of approach, I think you can really pass the exam. And not just passing the exam, it is even beyond to your actual life it goes. So with this, I
Perfect.
want
I
to
think.
wrap this up. And
I
preparation,
think.
as I said,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
preparation, as I've said, is only a matter of doing 2 to 3 revisions and then taking up the mock exams. And how you can do go about it, taking up 1.5 to 2 months time of yours, going to 2 to 3, going it through the same topic 2 to 3 times will definitely remove all your queries and doubts. And that is the crux of going through revisions, that you should not have any doubts left while taking the exam. That is the reason why I'm suggesting that approach, a systematic approach. And your perseverance is more important than smartness, initial smartness that we have while coming in. Even CAs fail this exam when they get arrogant. And audit audit is also known where CAs itself have failed. And we have to really think back, study again, and then the result that will come out will definitely be better. Each and every one of you can pass this exam. This is not a big deal. All it requires is a bit of your attention for some short span of time, I would say.
Perfect. I think this is a beautiful note to end. Be grateful, not only with this, but all around, and keep working hard. Thank you so much, Lalit. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And good luck for your career. Bye.
Bye bye.